Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, brother? You're on vacation already.
I am. We got you about 40 minutes ago.
Oh, amazing. Alrighty. Well, did you trust that weekend pump yesterday that we got? I mean, I went on Twitter immediately and I said, you never trust a weekend pump.
Yeah. I don't think it was the pump that excited me. I think it was more the bounce that happened before that was quite exciting. And at least it's given us a really nice support in the market. So we got a key level that we know we want to hold.
Which is the 200-day moving average.
Yeah. And that's just going off the simplicity of history. And as long as we hold it, we're still in a really good trend. So we had a critical level in the market. But if we don't hold it, then I'm seeing the back to that 42 level to go test this wick over here. You see this low level over here? Yeah. I still think that's the low. But yeah, we'll get into it now.
Okay, we'll get into that. We'll also talk about dominance because dominance also jumped and hit a very, very, very critical level. And then there are one or two altcoins that despite this, I don't call it bear market, this little correction in the market, they don't really care. So we're going to look at those altcoins. We're going to see what they've got that the other altcoins don't have.
The stock market's 1% from all-time high.
Highest, the S&P has had the highest daily close ever. There it is.
That's insane. So the stock market's recovered, definitely.
Yes, and it's a big week this week. So there's lots to talk about. Let's get this show started.
What's up? Here comes our super sniper Sheldon. What's up? We love our crypto sniper Sheldon. Super sniper Sheldon. Crypto sniper Sheldon. This is our Sheldon. Oh, this is our Sheldon. Smash those likes. Yes.
Smash those likes.
Ryan, you're frozen, buddy.
Yeah, why am I frozen?
You're frozen. Is it gone? So guys, anyone new to the channel, anyone new to this, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, join the best community as we are there throughout the good and bad in the market. We have been through the ups together, we go through the downs together, and we're still here every single day. And our main focus is, remember, I even got caught on the last little dip, but the whole purpose is to be here every day to show how we then come back through these times and how we actually, trade the market day by day at this point. We can never, be in control of the news or the FUD that's out there. We can only just trade what is given us. And I have a good, simple amount of strategies through everything. So make sure you do join the family. I think we might be having some giveaways. We'll see. I know it usually generalizes. It's usually between 5,000 and 7,000 likes that we need before we do give any giveaways. So make sure you do smash that like button. And I think these are going to be, as we pop in this week, they are going to be shorter shows. And I'm going to go through some of the alts and go through Bitcoin. And the main thing is the market is starting to slow down. And this is a really key thing for us. So I'm going to jump in and get going on what's actually happened over the weekend. And it's really nice to see that we're getting a real slowdown in volume. This is one of the first things that are exciting me right now with Bitcoin is we are getting a slow momentum of volume and we are starting to range. And it's very similar to this point over here where we started to, we had the big drops in between. We then had the second drop and then we started to range and we started to get a slowdown in volume, started to, the market started to relax a bit. And then all of a sudden we had a key break of trend and then a strong push to the upward side. And, I'm sort of looking at this zone over here, very similar to the region that we had over here. And, I like to see that we're not getting a massive increase of volume. Now, secondly, what was really good is that we came down and we tested the 200-day moving average. And what's really good about it, guys, is we haven't had any candle close below that. And this is, it's a really good high time frame support level that we do want to hold. And the fact that we're getting to these levels and we are bouncing at these points is really good. And the reason why we are ranging, let's just jump onto the chart here. There we go. Is because we have this main trend line trend that we're looking to get to. And what this usually indicates is as soon as we start pulling away from this trend line. So let me delete this one for now. There we go. As soon as we start pulling away from any trend, this can be to the up or downward side, we usually then slowly make our way back to that level. And all that this gave for me was just to say, you know what, there is going to be a bit of cool off time. it could take up to 10 days. And this is still showing me it can be, another 2-3 days of a bit of up and down where Bitcoin can range between 46K to the 50K region. And then we have a very critical breakout that we all need to be ready for, because the high after that is going to be a very important level for us, because we want to actually reverse. And how we're going to look to reverse is when we get some sort of breakout, and a closing candle outside of this trend is definitely going to be a more add to my bag sort of strategy. But when we close out here, we do want to see Bitcoin rally and actually recover back to the 60K region. Because then it will show we are finally getting back to the higher point of view, because what we have done now, it is our first higher low. And usually when we indicate a higher low in the market, we then need to look for a higher high that's after that sort of point. So I am expecting Bitcoin, to slowly range up to the region of 50 to 51K, quite slowly to that zone as volume is decreasing. And when volume slowly decreases to those levels, as what it did over here, as soon as the volume comes in, when we get to that trend line, and you can see what happened in the zone over here, was as soon as we were at the zone, takes a little bit of time, calming down, getting, the retail was flushed out the market, guys. And this now just gave time for that. And as soon as we get to that trend, all of a sudden volume looks to come in. So we don't have volume backing any bearish movement right now. We did have the two big spikes, but now the volume is calming down, and it looks like we are getting to a place of exhaustion, and the bears are starting to get tired. And then we're now going to have a reply from the bulls. So what was a great indication for me was, firstly, obviously holding the 200-day. That was great. And then we had a cross now in our stochastic daily RSI. And this is good. Now it's showing an indication, okay, we've had an official cross in it, which means now the bulls now are trying to reclaim. And what my really exciting one for me is jumping to the much higher time frames. Guys, you can see where this weekly one is set now. And you can see how the stochastic has finally hit the bottom at the zone over here. So it's showing that we can have, a little bit of a, slow sort of week or so, but it's showing that the bulls return is coming. And we are still reclaiming a higher high at this point. We are still holding all the main trends. We are even sitting on very big bullish divergence on the weekly. And that's when we have a higher high in trend and we have a lower low in the RSI. So we have a lot of bullish indicators at this point that's showing us that the bears are starting to get a bit tired. And we are, the last time we had this RSI hit the bottom, Bitcoin was at that 29K. And, the time before that, Bitcoin was sitting in the region of $10,000. So this year alone, we've only hit the bottom twice. And now we're going for our third time for hitting the bottom. And the main thing with that is you're getting the flow, you're getting the natural emotion flow in the market, where we go through this really fearful period. Then we go through, the really greedy period, sorry. Then we go through a fearful period. So we go through a greedy period, fearful period, greedy fear. But what we are seeing is that the greed is still a lot stronger than the fearful at this point. And even though we're getting this nice emotion, market cycle every time Bitcoin is still making higher highs, higher lows. The last 3 times before this, Bitcoin 29, before that 10 grand. So now we can see, we're at a point now where we're going to have the push from the bulls. And at any point, I can expect a nice, strong green candle that can just really send us back into the 50Ks. And then we can start to see from there how we hold. Now, that main level, as I was saying, when we do break out, is I am looking at that 53 to the 54K region. I see a lot of guys are looking at it as well. Will Clemente is also looking at those levels. So it's nice to see that the on-chain data is also matching with that. And that will be a really key level that we want to break out, and that can well take us onto the 60K region. Now, what was quite interesting this weekend, and why I think we are going to have a really big bounce in Bitcoin, is this dominance. We've been trailing down on the dominance for a while now, and you can see over here how we started this downwards trend. And now it looks like we're at that point where we're possibly getting a daily breakout in dominance. And this usually happens when Bitcoin needs to ride solo. Now, this happened previously in this zone over here when we finally flushed out. And then, we had Bitcoin looking uncomfortable when it was sitting around the 35, 40K region. And then we had the calming down of that, I think it was that event with Elon Musk and them and Cathie Wood, then started to bring. And as soon as eyes went back on Bitcoin, we got this big push from Bitcoin. And what that did for us, guys, is it took Bitcoin back from 40K all the way back to 69K or 60. 8K, and then we have then flushed it back into the alt. So it's nice to see that we are still repeating that some sort of pattern, and the Bitcoin is probably the one that's going to bounce out of this bear cycle we're currently in. It's going to be the first one to bounce out, which makes sense, brings a little bit of calmness to the market, and then it can get flushed back into that thing. And I am still looking. Yeah.
If you were to guess where this Bitcoin dominance closes at the end of the year, now bearing in mind that the end of the year is 18 days away, what's your guess?
I don't think we're going to go much. It all depends how quick Bitcoin rallies, like if we get a really fast rally, but I don't think we'll get above 45. I don't think so. I think to the region of 44, 45, and then another flush out back to it. I actually think we're going to range through this through like the next year. I think we're just going to have a Bitcoin push to the high 40s, then a drop down to the low 40s. And at least we have the very two key lines. So if we break that ever in the future, then we'll know. But yeah, the fact that dominance has turned to Bitcoin's favor is just showing now that they want to protect the market. They're showing now, you know what I mean? We're flipping back to old routines again, and it's really good. So
you don't think it's got anything to do with people losing confidence? Because when people lose confidence, then they move from altcoins into Bitcoin. So you don't think that people are now starting to protect themselves, prepare themselves for some
I think they're scared, right? And I think for them, I think they're scared, and I think they're saying, okay, we don't know where this market's going right now, but we do know that Bitcoin's one of the safest crypto assets. So, let me rather just stock up there, just be sure until we have direction change, and I know it's safe to get back into my alts. So I think people are just taking caution.
Yeah, you know what they say? Usually when a bear market ends, it's when the buyers get exhausted. And they're still buying. Like you saw yesterday, there was buying. Every time Bitcoin tries to break downwards, there's buying. And they say that usually the bear market or the bear cycle or the bear period ends when the buyers get exhausted and there's nothing, they just can't buy anymore.
When the bears get exhausted, they can't sell anymore.
When the buyers get exhausted. So what happens is the sellers sell while the buyers can absorb it. And then what happens is the buyers just get tired. And then what happens is the sellers have to sell into a much lower market, and that's usually characteristic of it. If you go back to May, June, you can kind of see it quite clearly in May, June. So if you just zoom out, let's look at May, June. So you see what happened was,
not over here.
You see we dipped all the way down.
Yeah.
No, go again. Let's go to the end of the right shoulder. So you dipped all the way down.
Yeah.
All the way down. And then you see it was hovering and hovering. All the way down.
Oh, yeah.
So you got
hover.
Yes, the way down. So it's like there's buyers and buyers and buyers and buyers, and then eventually the buyers get exhausted and the price just takes a dip, and that's kind of like the end, and then it starts going up again. And I'm still finding that there's a lot of buying in the market now. There's a lot of support. So it kind of reminds me of the beginning of May, or the beginning of that correction, which is towards the end of May.
Yeah. Whenever we get to the bottom, so what happened in this zone here was whenever we touched down, it got bought up very quickly. Then the bulls tried to reclaim, got tired, pulled back, it got bought up very quickly. So this was definitely big guys buying at these levels over here.
Yes.
And it's very similar to here that the dips are getting bought up, guys. How many times have we gone now to test 47, 46? And we just bounce, and we just bounce, and we just bounce. And then we get to a point, and then we sell. So this is definitely accumulating, and it's definitely not retail buying up these dips. It's definitely bigger guys buying up these dips. And all they do is, like you said, they get the market exhausted. They get that volume really low. And when that volume is really low, they're able to move the market a lot quicker for market execution or anything like that. And that usually comes, this was my favorite thing about trend lines. We don't know when, we don't know why, but there's always volume. And, the previous one that we got to when we thought we had a breakout, when was it, a week or two ago, we still got volume. So at least we know the trend line works very well, that the moves come when we get to the end of that trend line and we get to the end of that sort of trend. So it is showing another day or two, and the weeklies just hit the bottom. So it is showing we could have, let's say, a doji or a flat, really low volume candle this week. But I am seeing, the end of December to beginning of Jan, I'm seeing the bulls trying to reclaim what they've lost. Exactly.
I think that this is a 4-week shakeout, 4 to 5 week shakeout. And we're probably 10 days in, a weekend. When is the big crash? Last Friday?
Yeah, 10 days.
It can't be 10 days. It was a Friday night. So it was 10 days. Yeah. Was it last Friday, the big push down? Friday before. So we're about 2 weeks in then.
Saturday.
Yeah. So we're about 2 weeks in. And I think that it's going to take time to shake out this leverage. I don't think it's an easy thing. We had a lot of leverage in the market. We had the most leverage we've ever had in the market.
Leverage dropped more.
Let's have a look at where the leverage is. Give me a second.
Yeah, and remember, guys, we go through like this phase over here where it's a couple weeks of downwards or uncertainty in the market. But then remember, the bull leg then lasts for a month, 2 months, and then we can easily go into another month of bear. Like it's just something natural that's going to happen. And I like to look at it in this view. When we're hitting this big rally over here, it's time to make money. I'm focusing on some sort of profit strategy or something. And when it comes to these little dip-offs here and these little accumulation cycles, I'm re-looking at my portfolio. I'm restructuring and getting ready for the next bull leg to the upward side. But we haven't broken anything crazy.
Let's look at the leverage. So it's 0.18. So it's over here. So it's yeah, it's something it's on the increase again.
This looks very similar to the last two, where we had those very sharp down. We then have a little push up, another little spike down, and then the continue. It's done it on the last two times. We can see it very clear.
It's here, down, flat, and maybe up a bit, down again, and then up again.
Yeah. All depends on that thing. So we're keeping aware. If there is that shakeout, remember the lows can always be tested. I'm not too sure if we're going to get there just yet. A close under 200-day will give me that indication. And right now, major support for Bitcoin is 46. So let's first use that as first support. If we do close,
do you want to get some perspective?
Yeah.
Let me give you some perspective. That is where the leverage was at the peak before the May collapse. Okay, that's the top of this blue line over here, which is on 0.18277, right? Okay. Right now, leverage is 0.1846. So leverage is higher now than it was at the peak of April. Yeah.
And but I do feel we're in a different market.
Yeah, we do.
But I agree. I do agree, and that's why we're taking day for day, and we're just going through. But I do know, these times they get tired, and when they get tired, this market reverses quickly. And if you're in that mindset where you're not buying up specials, or you're not at least dollar costing at these levels, you're going to be buying 20%, 30% higher in the next few weeks. Like all of a sudden, we're going to have 1 week where everything just rampages, and then you end up buying a lot higher, and you just, you've ruined the basics of what you needed to do, and now you're just falling back into the old traps. So that's so that's looking good. What's quite interesting, obviously, is the stock market. The fact that we're sitting, 1% away or just over 1% away from all-time highs is ridiculous. So they bought up. I don't know if those printing machines went off or what happened, but you know what I mean. It was really recovered very quick.
There's a Fed meeting this week, which they're going to discuss the inflation problem. Now, remember, inflation was the highest that it's ever been in 40 years. That happened on Friday. So inflation came in, was it Thursday or Friday? Friday. Yeah, so inflation came in the highest point that it's been in the last 40 years.
But the market's going up.
The market goes up. So
makes sense, eh?
Do you not know that Jerome Powell is going to stand up in front of everybody and say, we have an inflation problem. We have to slow down this economy. Even Joe Biden is starting to panic about inflation now, warning us that, there's gas prices are coming down, energy prices are coming down. So he finds it that he has to, he has to come out and tell people about this and warn people and kind of cushion the blow. And now what's Jerome Powell going to do? He's going to stand up on Wednesday or whenever it is. I mean, meeting's tomorrow, but I think they talk on Wednesday. And he'll say something like, we have to speed up tapering. We're going to speed up tapering to Q1 next year, which means we could probably expect an interest rate rise sometime Q1 and Q2 next year. And then they're going to go up 25 basis points, and then another 25 basis points, and then we're in a cycle of increasing interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
listen, I don't know about you, but I think like another year or so, we're gonna have to really have a look, because this stock market, I think at some point, I think that's gonna save the day again, and we're gonna manage to still have a good year next year. But I think it's just getting deadly. Like, how can you recover so quick? Like, this is my only thing with this. Like, I get it, but we usually accumulate. Bitcoin dumps, it accumulates, gets things back, and like stock market just recovers. Like, it literally falls and then recovers quickly like that. Then it falls and it recovers, and it falls and it recovers. Like, there's no normal market flow happening here. It just seems, I don't know if it's manipulated, like it looks heavy manipulated chart-wise.
Well, just think about this. Let's just do some quick back of the envelope accounting, right? Before COVID, the stock market was at 3392. It was at a high. You see that? So that was before COVID. There we go.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at the US 500, that's the broadest There we go. That's the broadest one. So before COVID, the market was at 3392. They printed 40% more US dollars into circulation. The market is at 4735. So just quickly just say 3396 plus 40%. I have a calculator. I can work it out first.
Yeah, please. My brain's tired. We're recording the whole weekend.
I know, with the broken studio.
Oh, jeez.
I would have burnt the studio. Oh, look at that.
Close.
Look at that. Look, can you see? 4754.
Sure.
Okay. Now, look at the market is at 4735. See that?
4735. Look how your phone's making your
whole
background.
screen's
You're in
going
alien
green.
world.
Good, let me jump off and get my screen the right color.
Yeah, guys. So as we see here, obviously the stock markets, I got this very main trend. We'll keep aware in that. I still think we got another good year of really good growth in the markets, and then I do feel we are going to have a ugly event like this, at maybe end of next year or the next thing. I think we still got good time for now, and we're looking good. One thing that I'm also last thing before I jump into some of the alts. We are getting a little push from the Dixie, from the dollar index, and it looked like we can possibly be breaking a 4-hour trend. So that's just saying, a bit of a slow day. Bitcoin can still hover for the remaining of the day. The alts can still hover. But like I was saying, a few more days. Are you sorted?
I don't know. Let's try that again, just for fun.
Oh, this one's getting ugly now, Ran. Let's go.
What's my number? Just yeah, because Solana got DDoS attacked. That's the problem. I didn't factor for DDoS.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. 14%.
Sure. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be a tight one. It is going to be a tight one.
It's going to be tough.
So obviously now let's go have a look. I see ETH is still holding trend beautifully, and it's making higher lows at this point. So ETH at a critical level for me. I've been adding ETH at this sort of point. Looking at Solana as well, it's at a really key level now where we want to be holding these sort of support zones here. So Solana's looking cheap for me. It is getting we're back at 164, and I think it can bottom between 150 at any point if Bitcoin does have that smaller pullback. But this is definitely one, guys, if you look at percentage-wise, just put something in your head whenever you're buying. Am I buying it on special? How much am I buying off? Is it good fundamentals? Is it going to change the world? Yes, simple. Now, this one is sitting 38% cheaper than the all-time highs. So you are definitely picking up a special.
Yeah,
I have spoke about this last week. Luke's been talking tons about Kusama and Polkadot, and he just doesn't understand how the price is not reflecting, but they're building a lot. And maybe they're keeping all the news in the background and not coming everything public-wise. But, I think Kusama is one you have to be stocking up.
This Saturday, the first of the Polkadot Parachains go live. That's this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think it's Akala Network. Is it Akala or is it... Who won the first auction? I think it's Akala. Akala Network. They go live. So that could give a little bit of a kick to the Kusama dot narrative. But sure,
yeah, they run together.
Yeah,
it is cheap.
Yeah.
Remember
the highs to look cheap. Also starting to look cheap.
Yeah, like look at Luna. Now Luna is finally coming back to a support resistance flip and had that quick drop. So I think Luna is going to come back between $52 and $55, and I think that's a really good little load up zone on Luna if you missed the original strong pump, and at least it's taught you now to be buying pullbacks and not chasing the actual pump. So Luna's still great. I still think Avalanche is at a great level. I think it can come down to about 75, but anywhere between 75 and 80. Guys, they are getting exhausted. You can see the bears are getting exhausted. You can see how the volume is tapering down very strong. You can see how all the RSIs are resetting. Do you remember why we get pullbacks in the market, guys? So the RSIs can reset. So the main indicators can actually reset. That's the only reason we go through these little periods of pullbacks in the market. And look how the weekly is about to hit the bottom for Avalanche. So, picking up in these regions, between $70 and $80, I think you're really catching a grade, because remember, it was basically $150 3-4 weeks ago. So AVAX is good. Looking at Dot's weekly just hit the bottom. We have really big bullish divergence on the weekly as well. We've got exhaustion where we have volume decreasing, and we're sitting on the golden zone on 0.618 now on the weekly. So Dot's region, $23, $28. I'm definitely loading up. Now this one is quite interesting. What happened to Render? Render had this nice little
had the big pump weekend,
and now it's testing. So this
weekend.
is one. This is one. It could possibly come back to about 4.1 now, but this one is one I won't be missing. Look how that daily's been flatlining, and now we completely broke through. Massive bullish divergence on the higher time frames. So retest here. This is looking good. Finally, some volume. Do you see what happens, guys? This is the perfect example of where we are with Bitcoin right now. Is where we're tapering down. Bears are in control. Look at this volume. No volume, no volume. All of a sudden, look how quickly they managed to reverse it. This is coming, guys. And it's going to come quick. And all of this hard work over the last 5 days from trying to pull render down was erased from one candle. And that's what I love about the tapering. There's no volume backing this momentum at the moment. Fantom's looking good. It looks like it is going to make its way closer to the lower of this wick, which is about 1.2. And then I think it's really cheap because this was $3.5, guys. So I think this is really, really cheap. And it is showing it can be in a little bit of accumulation for another week or so. But I think definitely being in this position by the end of the year, I think it's going to have a great start to the year. Same as Cardano. This is also sitting 70% or 60% from all-time highs. This is golden zone. Look at all the RSIs. Dailies just crossed to the upward side. Look at weeklies, completely done. And the last time we were here, we're at the same price. So it rallied literally from 1.1 to 1.2 all the way to $3 the last time we were at the zone. The time before that, Cardano was sitting at, what is that, 1 cent. It was sitting, no, 10 cents. It was sitting at 10 cents the last time we were down there. So now we're at the bottom there again, and we got really big bullish divergence. So Cardano, I agree with you. I think January is Cardano month. I think it's really going to move. Same as Chainlink. Guys, these weeklies alone don't lie. Like, they don't lie.
These coins, I look at these coins and they're getting cheap.
They're getting very cheap.
They're not like free yet. And I don't know. I think I'm just going to sit on my hands a little bit longer and just like wait for the freebies.
The problem is if they get too free,
it's going to happen.
Then it's going to take time. You know what I mean? If they get too cheap, then it's going to take. We're going to be sitting. So yeah, I'm working very much with the stochastic RSI. I'm loading up these zones. These things are all hitting the bottom. It doesn't lie. It's a very, very hard time frame. We've only gotten it twice this year. Like, I'm very happy with that. Looking at Thought Chain as well, coming beautiful. I think it's going to come to around about 5.7.
Patience.
So I still believe a lot of these alts can go 10% cheaper than what they are now. They can. If Bitcoin does test 46, they can go 10% cheaper than where they are now. But I'm dollar costing, definitely.
My best advice. I'm
not being greedy either. I'm happy with these entries.
My best advice is, if you're dollar cost averaging, keep dollar cost averaging. Go in every Monday, every Tuesday. Today's a great day to be buying. If you're dollar cost averaging, keep buying. If you're not dollar cost averaging and you're waiting for an opportunity, step away from your laptop, go for a walk, go do something that's not related to the market. And there will be an opportunity. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel that there's another little flush out of leverage coming here. We can't be leverage shakeout finished, but we're still at the same levels that we were at the peak before the liquidations of March and April. No, brother.
What happens if stock market breaks all-time high and just keeps going? Like, you know what I mean? When can we have that? You know what I mean?
Then I'll wait for the break of trend. Then I'll wait for that break of trend on Bitcoin.
So, you look at one like Matic and you can see with this weekly's getting to oversold position. So I won't be going crazy on adding Matic positions, and we'll be more patient there, but it just shows you, go look at all the other ones. Guys, they are completely reset. You know what I mean? Look at ones like Theta reset, Vet's reset, Tezos is reset, Zol's reset, Moon River, this is getting very cheap now, and we got a very key support at around 170. Moon River is very cheap.
But I still feel like there's going to be another opportunity. Like, I want to buy it at 185 because 185 is actually the lowest that it's ever been, except for the day of listing. If you just zoom back on your chart and you can see it.
Yeah. It's
never been that low, except the first day. You see, hasn't been that low.
Yeah, it hasn't. And we got a key one at around 165. So I think we can maybe possibly, like I'm saying, another 10% cheap on the alts, but I don't see much further than that. But this is going to reply very well, guys. If we get a really strong momentum push in the whole market, Moon River can easily make its way back to $300 quite quickly because it was such and that's a thing. So yeah, I agree on that. One that was quite interesting for me. Okay, it's not cheap enough yet. Remark, Kilt, definitely. Yeah, and I was having a look at stars on that. I'm just giving them a bit more time. So yeah, that's it for now.
Yeah, I would wait. I saw Starlaunch defied all gravity again, up again. I think it's because they launched. I started reading the announcement. They launched a metaverse on Starlaunch. I think it's like all happening in the metaverse. I think that's happening there. I want to just see something. Moon River. I want to see what the market cap is, because I would imagine it's probably one of the cheapest layer ones out there now. I think it's like, I guess the market cap's about 1.8 billion. Yeah, 1.9 billion fully diluted market cap. So just to give you perspective, and I'm not buying this yet, just so you know. But so they've got a 1.9 billion fully diluted market valuation. Let's quickly just see who they're competing against. So Ethereum's got a $475 billion. Then you've got Binance Chain, which is about $92 billion. Then you've got Solana, which is $50 billion. You've got Cardano, which is $42 billion. Then you have Terra, which is 22 billion, Avalanche, which is 20 billion. So you're talking about Moon River being 1/10 of Avalanche.
Wow.
Nah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Sounds like a good investment.
That doesn't. Let's just see. So you're talking about Moon River being 1/5 of Algorand. Yeah, okay, maybe. Let's look at 1/3 of Cosmos. Cosmos is the most unhyped chain basically in the whole world. Let's have a look here. Near Protocol. So you're saying Moon River and Near is 1/3 the size of. Hold on, I think these are not even fully diluted. Hold on, wait. Let's just see here. Yeah, these are not even fully diluted. Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. And so you're saying that let's just go down here so we can understand. Moon River doesn't even feature on the top 100 coins based on its. Nah, come on, it's cheap.
Yeah.
No, long term, it's got to be cheap.
Yeah,
but is there
dollar cost.
Yeah.
Run the whole market and the whole alt market is 40-50% off. Are we really going to complain for another 10%? You know what I mean? Like it's.
I am.
Yeah, dollar costing. No,
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
When Bitcoin's 300K, it doesn't matter if you bought it at 48
I'm
or you bought it at 50.
Like, yeah, that's what I said. If you're dollar cost averaging and you want to just accumulate,
just don't miss the pump. That's all that I'm asking. Like, don't all of a sudden next week Bitcoin 60K again, and then you're like, I didn't get all my buys in, and now you got to chase you got to FOMO.
You know why I don't think I'm going to miss the pump? I'll tell you why I don't think I'm going to miss the pump. Because what's going to happen is Bitcoin is going to go up and test that trend line, right? And it's going to break through that trend line. That's going to be my confirmation that there's a pump in play. When it breaks through that trend line at 53,000 or 52,000 or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So
everything's going to be 20% higher than what it is now.
No, man. If you looked at the alts last night, Bitcoin broke 50,000. The alts didn't even move. The same thing's going to happen.
Yeah, dominance bounce. I agree. Okay, cool.
I agree. So then I'm going to wait for that dominance bounce. I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to break out, and then I'm going to start buying malts.
Okay, I get you.
Because Sheldon, it's simple for me. I'm just looking at this and I'm going. Remember the last time I wasn't convinced that all the leverage is out the market, and then everyone here convinced me that the crypto quant was broken and that the leverage actually was out the market. I should have just checked last night, but I didn't. Now I've become smarter. I'm a smarter person now.
Okay, I get you.
I'm waiting for this leverage to be flushed out. I'm patient. I took my kids I rode a little train yesterday. I did a whole lot of things with my kids. I didn't look at my phone once. I didn't look at the prices once. Because when I do, tempted. Yeah. That's
I think that's it for now.
It's Monday.
It's
Monday. Fred blowing his nose. Yeah, it's Monday.
Oh, it's Monday. Typical.
Monday.
Are we running until this week, Friday run, and then we're gonna drop some of the education through? Cool.
Yeah.
So we're here this week, guys. We'll possibly still be doing these by the time the Bitcoin breakout comes. So we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. Cool.
You done, Fred? Well done. Fred loves Mondays, eh? Yeah, bro. Hold on. Yeah. Jimmy, on Monday, on Monday, just put the tissues on Fred's desk. All right, guys, love you madly. See you again, 9 o'clock EST. I'm going to show you why we're not actually in a bear market. That's what the later show is about. I'm going to show you guys why we are not in a bear market. See you guys later.
Cheers, guys.
Changing of the seasons, brother.
Changing of the seasons.
From winter to fall.
Yeah, it's from winter to summer. More parties.